In the trials, there are many hard workers that are trying their best to dish out the best therapy possible. And I think Murkoff, they don't treat these guys well enough. I think some of these guys deserve promotions. Now, what do I mean by a promotion? Basically, what I'm thinking is like, could any of these export become prime assets? Obviously, I don't genuinely believe any of these guys would be able to be prime assets, right? Because, you know, if they could be prime assets, they would be prime assets. But I just think it's a fun discussion. And also, you know, promotion doesn't only mean they could become a prime asset, though. Like, I might also talk about, like, upgrading some of these guys' equipment and stuff. But that's sort of the main focus of this video. Like, could any of these export, like, actually maybe, just maybe, become a prime asset? Now, obviously, I'm not counting the prime assets because, you know, they're prime assets already. So, this is something that's going to kind of make this discussion a little weird because, in canon, right? We'll take like Pitcher for example. There isn't just one Pitcher. Like there's multiple different Pitchers, right? Like being a Pitcher is like a category, if you know what I mean. But obviously, as we all know, there is only one Pitcher in game, and I'm gonna be ranking it like that. Like there's just one Pitcher, but obviously in canon, like there is multiple different Pitchers, if you know what I mean. It's kind of confusing. Now I want to talk about the Pouncer and the Pitcher, and I think these guys just also don't really deserve a promotion because they're kind of like on their own they're just not a big threat, but when they're sort of combined with other threats, that's when they become a problem, you know. But you know, like they're not actually, like they don't really make a big impact on the trial, so I don't think they deserve a promotion really. They only really work in like really niche circumstances, if you know what I mean. So. And they also, they're just not prime asset material at all, really. They can't dish out enough damage, not dangerous enough, and their personality, I don't think is good enough. They're not as charismatic as they need to be, at least in the eyes of Dr. Easton, or whatever the hell he thinks charisma means. They're basically support enemies. Next I want to talk about the big grunts. This is just the same issue with the grunts, like there's different variations of them, and like they're pretty basic, you know. Something I will say though, I'm pretty sure Greg, the naked big grunt, right? He's the one in the Outlast trailer. I think it's the first Outlast trailer, and he's pretty scary in that. And I'm thinking, like, you know, maybe we should give Greg, him, a promotion. And I think we should give him, like, I'm pretty sure in the trailer, like, he had X-ray goggles on and he had a sledgehammer. That's pretty sick. That's actually pretty sick. I'd actually like to see that. So, you know, maybe down the line, we could give Greg a promotion, maybe? Give him some, like, X-ray goggles, so he's, like, X-ray dude, but a big grunt. That'd be pretty scary, honestly, like, just X-ray dude, but bigger, and with a sledgehammer. I don't know, man, he was pretty cool in that trailer. I don't know why I'm just saying Greg, you know, just any of the flipping big grunts, right? Just maybe give them some X-ray goggles, or give them a different range of equipment, you know. I want to see them use a sledgehammer or something. Okay, I'm going to move on to Pusher now, and I think Pusher doesn't deserve a promotion, and I think this is because he doesn't seem to be very physically strong himself, and I think that's why Murkoff have given him like the psychosis equipment. I think he's like just not very strong. Like if they gave Pusher a knife and then was like, alright, go hunt down some reagents, he wouldn't be able to really at all. And I think that's why they've given him the psychosis equipment. Like, he's very easy to scare off, and he gives up quite easily. And that's another thing. The impression I get of his character is that he's the kind of person that, like he does the bare minimum and he clocks out, you know. He gasses one person and is like, yeah, alright, I'm out. I've done my job. That's the kind of vibe I get from Pusher, and that's obviously not prime asset material, and it's obviously not going to get him a promotion. To be fair though, a prime asset with like psychosis abilities, like being able to put you in psychosis, is interesting. He has a good personality though, a little charismatic. So next I want to talk about Jaeger, and Jaeger's just a really hard one to rank because she kind of has like her own category, you know. She obviously, I don't think she can be a prime asset because she's just too unique. She's too slow and she doesn't have enough personality, and I also don't think you could really promote her in any way. You can't really upgrade her. She's kind of perfect the way she is. She's not a prime asset, but she's also not on like the same tier as these other guys. She's just in her own category because she's that She's just that unique. So Jaeger, she doesn't deserve a promotion, but she's already in a good spot herself, right? I think she has pretty high status. Right, now we're actually getting quite a bit closer to prime asset material. And next I am going to talk about the Berserker. I think the Berserker's pretty cool. He's pretty cool. And it's kind of a shame because in gameplay he kind of sucks. Like, he's not that much of a threat. But he has a lot of potential to be, like, genuinely deadly. I'm pretty sure, like, the lore behind the Berserkers is that, like, they're made to be used in war. Which, like, they have to be, like, really strong if that's the case. And I think they are. I think they are, like, a lot more dangerous than just your normal big grunt. And their unique ability of blindness, like, it's obviously going to give them, like, superhuman hearing. And, you know, like, that's a unique ability, and I think that's an ability that's needed for a prime asset. Prime assets need these, like, weird, unique abilities that make them stand out. And this guy actually has a personality too. He's quite charismatic, I think. He's cool, but he's like, I think he needs some upgrades, you know. I don't think he's really reached his full potential. Like, for example, like, in gameplay, he only sticks to, like, one room. And obviously, this is just, you know, like a gameplay thing. But if we look at it from, like, a lore perspective, right? Maybe Murkoff are only letting the Berserkers stay to a room, like they ordered them to stay in a room and they're not allowed to leave it. And if this is the case, then I think they should be allowed to just roam around the trials. Like, be able to actually enter other rooms. Because how scary would that be? And I think maybe a prime asset that's actually blind would be, like, really interesting. Now, I actually want to give some honourable mentions to Emily Barlow and Cornelius Noakes. These are the guys that, like, upgrade the reagents in the sleep room. And I think these guys deserve more love. How cool would it be if they made Emily a prime asset? That would be interesting. I don't know. Maybe like a nurse prime asset. I don't know. I'm just saying, I think it'd be interesting. Her whole personality with, like, her having to take, like, prescribed drugs to sort of, like, brainwash herself and make her seem all jolly is, like, quite interesting. And, you know, maybe they could put her in the trials at some point. That you could argue that's not really a promotion, but I'm just saying I think it's a cool idea. And, like, Noakes, Murkoff, just let this guy go. Come on, bro. This guy, Noakes is just a good guy, man. Just let him go. Why are you making him upgrade these stupid rigs? I think it'd be cool if we had, like, another escape event where, like, we actually, like, escape with Noakes, or, like, Noakes helps Amelia. I don't know. I think it'd be really cool. And maybe, like, he sacrifices himself for all the reagents or something. I don't know. I'm just spitballing ideas, but whatever. I've gone on a tangent, haven't I? What was I even talking about? Right. Let's get back to the X-Pop, right? For second place, for most deserving for a promotion, I'm gonna give it to Pitcher. Pitcher's kind of a menace, you know. His whole unique thing with fire is just great. Like, again, these prime assets need, like, a unique aspect to them and unique, like, power. And Pitcher has that with all the fight. Ooh. He also just looks, like, very physically imposing too. Like, he could probably just beat the crap out of most people. I mean, literally in one of his grab animations, he, like, throws you over his shoulder. Like, you clearly don't want to piss around with this guy. And, like, he has, like, pretty good aim with the Molotovs. Sometimes he doesn't, actually. To be fair, it kind of varies. Sometimes he has, like, really good aim, and then other times his aim is just trash. So he's kind of, like, up and down. He has good days and bad days. But I think overall he's just like he's a menace. I think he is a menace. I think the main thing though that's keeping him from, like, getting a good promotion and actually becoming a prime asset is that he doesn't talk. And I don't think you can become a prime asset if you can't talk. Obviously, I love the fact that he can't speak and he just squeals, but that's obviously not prime asset material. So maybe Murkoff could give him a promotion by, like, I don't know, like, upgrading some of his equipment. Maybe give him, like, a flamethrower. I don't know. What would actually be a cool ability for Pitcher? I don't know. He's basically he's pretty impressive and he's clearly good at his job. And I think he enjoys it, so. But the actual MVP, right? The guy that deserves to be a prime asset the most is the scapegoat. Look at this guy, man. Look at him comboing me in the corner. This guy's a menace. I'm gonna give it to X-Ray Eyes. The Night Hunter, I think he deserves it. I think he deserves to be at the top. I think he deserves to be a prime asset. Not really. But when compared to the other X-Pop, I think he has, like, the best chance. He has that unique ability, right? With the goggles, seeing in the dark. And the thing is, I think it'd be quite interesting if Murkoff actually upgraded him to be able to toggle the goggles on and off. I think that's prime asset material right there. If you give him that upgrade, then that's actually like a pretty strong ability. It's going to be so hard to hide from him. He has a great personality. Fucking glowworm. I also think he deserves to be a prime asset because I think he is one of the more dangerous out of these guys. Because the thing with Night Hunter is he has a voice line where he talks about how he would have liked to have these night vision goggles during the war. He might have just been like a normal soldier in like, I'm guessing like Vietnam, right, or something. Maybe he was like racking up kills in the war and stuff, I don't know. Maybe he's a lot more lethal than we actually know. And yeah, his actual strategies too, he's a lot more like strategic, and he's a lot smarter than a lot of the export. A lot of the export, they just patrol around, right, but he actually tries to sneak around and waits around corners for you and stuff. Like, he's clearly a lot smarter than a lot of the other export. I think people underrate this guy, and I think Murkoff especially underrate him, you know. I think he deserves some more love. He clearly enjoys his X-ray goggles, and I think upgrading him would really make him a lot more dangerous. And I think he'd really enjoy his job a lot more. I think he clearly enjoys his job. And yeah, I think he'd be good prime asset material. So yeah, that's pretty much it basically. It's kind of a weird video idea. Let me know in the comments who you think deserves to be a prime asset. And let me know how you think some of these X-Pop could be upgraded. What kind of new equipment could they be given? If you enjoyed, check out my other videos. And yeah, see you in the next one. Bye!